You can scroll on down and also see memory information here, network information, disk information, and swap. So we could take this report, and of course we could email it, we could print it, we could give it to our boss, or you could give it to your customer, let's say if you're a consultant. So it's a real pretty exportable report created by VeeamMonitor. The other type of report we could create is a trend report that outputs in Excel format. So let's click on that. Again, we'll take the defaults here, and we'll create this for ESX servers versus virtual machines. I'll say next here. We'll use all available data and all the default performance counters. We'll opt to save the report and then open it up as soon as it's created. Okay, when we ran the report, you saw down there a little error popped up. Let's open up the Veeam Report Viewer, and you can see here it says that Microsoft Excel 2007 was not found. That's why the report wasn't opened up. So if you see that same type of error, you know how to figure out why. You just go down to your task tray and open up the Veeam Report Viewer so that you can figure out why the report didn't come up. But I really want to show you this report. So what I'm going to do is to pause the recording, I'm going to install Excel, and I'll be right back. With Excel installed, we can now take a look at this trend report from VeeamMonitor. What we're given here is a welcome screen on this tab with a nice table of contents for the different pieces that make up the report. There's CPU, memory, disk, network, and swap information. We can also use the tabs across the bottom to scroll through this information. We can look at CPU usage here, and you can see the CPU usage for the ESX server number 1. You can also scroll down and see more raw data that makes up that report. You can see memory utilization, memory activity. We can scroll through these reports here. Here's disk read speed, a lot more disk information, disk latency, network utilization, and swap utilization. So these are the Excel reports that were generated by VeeamMonitor. Just an example of the powerful trending reports that it offers, and I really like that they're exported automatically into Excel because you can do a lot of things once you have this data into Excel. Now, one last point about reports. If you go up here to Report and go down to Scheduled Reports, this will give you a list of the scheduled report tasks. Now again, to create a scheduled report, you just go in and create a regular HTML or Excel trending report, but then at the end you're given the option to schedule it. Now optionally you can go in here and add task and add an HTML or trend report directly from the scheduled reports window. And now let's talk about the last topic in this video, and that is integrating VeeamMonitor with Veeam Business View. Now Veeam Business View is a free product from Veeam that allows you to view your VMware virtual infrastructure, how your business is organized. For example, you could view all the virtual machines that are related to human resources or marketing or to development, or all the ESX hosts that are related to one line of your business. And that's really important when you run performance and inventory reporting like you would in VeeamMonitor or in Veeam Reporter. So to connect VeeamMonitor to Veeam Business View, of course, first you have to have Veeam Business View installed, and then you go down here to the Business View tab, and that brings up the Options screen, and there's a tab in the Options screen related to Business View. So all you do is to type in your Business View server name here. In our case, that server is http://VeeamMonitor:1340, with the login name being, in domain/username format, VeeamMonitor/administrators. I'll type in the password and click Test here. So when I pressed Enter there, the VeeamMonitor server connected to the Business View server and downloaded information about how our business is structured, things like business units, departments, and purposes, and how that matches up with our virtual infrastructure. These were, of course, pre-categorized over on the Business View server and pre-created. So if we look under Business Unit here, you can see that we have folders like Coffee Production and Coffee Sales. We can expand those out and see the virtual machines that make up those business units. Underneath Department, we have departments like Finance, Human Resources, and Marketing, and we can see the virtual machines that make up those departments. Down here under Purpose, we've got Development and Production and Uncategorized. So let's say that we wanted to pull up a performance chart on all the virtual machines that make up the coffee production business unit. I just click on that folder, and then over here on the right-hand side, I can see a summary that there's 7 virtual machines, and I can see performance data based on those virtual machines. I can see the CPU, memory, network, disk, and swap usage. I can go to the top virtual machines underneath that business unit. I can check out alarms or create alarms just for that business unit, and I can view events just related to virtual machines in that business unit. In fact, if we go up to Report and to HTML Report, we can run an HTML report just on the virtual machines contained in that business unit. And notice here the object that the report was run on is coffee production. So this report is based on the predefined categories, business units, departments, and purposes that I created over in Veeam Business View to view my virtual infrastructure, how my business is really run. So here's performance data based on the coffee production business unit at the WiredBrain Coffee Company. So that's how you connect VeeamMonitor to Veeam Business View to view your virtual infrastructure, how your business is designed. Again, Veeam Business View is a free product, and you saw how easy it was to connect to VeeamMonitor. And with that, let's go back to our slides. And that brings us to the end of this video covering configuring and using VeeamMonitor. In this video, you learned first how to connect Monitor to your Virtual Center server. That way, Monitor was able to pull down statistics and information about your virtual infrastructure. From there, I showed you how to use performance charts and how those performance charts are available at every level of the virtual infrastructure, and how those performance charts are really hierarchical in nature, so that if you go to the highest level, you'll see performance data for all the objects underneath, including ESX hosts and virtual machines. I showed you how to customize those performance charts by adding additional counters or correlating events that happen in the virtual infrastructure like snapshots or vMotions or Veeam backup events along with that performance data. Then I showed you how to configure alarms in the virtual infrastructure and how those alarms are also hierarchical in nature. You can use the default alarms, which work very similarly to vSphere virtual infrastructure alarms that you may already be familiar with. I showed you how the default alarms are already there, but you need to add some form of alerting so that you can get an email or an SNMP trigger. I also showed you how to use VeeamMonitor's modeling so that you can prevent creating alarms that will send off a lot of false triggers. Then we covered events, and I showed you how if you go to the highest level of VeeamMonitor, how you can search through events across the entire virtual infrastructure. You can also use that event history, and that event history is created over time, and you can view that event history based on various points in time. Then I showed you how to generate HTML and Excel trending reports, as well as how to schedule reports. And finally, I ended the video with showing you how to integrate VeeamMonitor with Veeam Business View to view performance information about your virtual infrastructure, how your business is defined. Thanks for watching this video covering configuring and using VeeamMonitor.